Is it really that time again? It is time to recap 2024 Part 3 in Power Fantasy from May 26th to July 28th. The series has been a real roller coaster following the conclusion of Bad Time 3, leaving the Thermite Party as the last team standing. The powers that be scrambling to keep them from getting their title matches owed to them by winning the tournament. Starting on May 27th, Match 2 was supposed to be between Steve and Trash GPT, teammates during the Bad Time 3. But Ultimate Ashley and the Animates paid good money to take the contract from the Trash Man, as Ultimate Ashley had been accused of not fighting quality competition like Steve Austin. Later that night, his partner, Monster Energy, had a bout with Phoebe Kino, springing from their exchanges over the last few years, especially in the Bad Time 3 this year. Monster Energy able to come away with the win with the spinning chokehold. And in our main event, the team championship, the contendership was contendership match was held to establish the contenders for the team championships after the Bad Time 3. Rights to the championship, Pinrest coming up victorious with the Delta Blue sleeper hold from Noah Gripe on Luxury Levine. Moving on to June 3rd of match 1, you see in the upper left corner, Getaway Six is passed out from hearing a tendon in his shoulder pop too loudly. He's fine, he's just, squeamish, I guess. In match 2 at the Bad Time 3 finale, Bonami beat the Corruptonaut for the vacant PF2 championship. The Animated Production Company protested due to their contract having a different official listed for the match than the one who came out to perform it. The commission had no choice but to overturn the first bout and stage this rematch, which the Corruptonaut won. Also, you see the Cocksher from C2C wearing gray track suits after losing the rights to the color scheme they wore during the Bad Time 3 as part of Cock Sticks and Getaway Sticks. Also see there Pseudomania debuting a flying body splash against Beat Me Sicko as the campaign against light heavyweights continued. And the commission made the Grand Championship match between the Hierophant and Akane Ruby Angel. Usually this is given to someone when their title defense record is in jeopardy. Akane Ruby Angel held the belt for a year, but only defended it 5 times, so this match was allowed to happen, and it pushed the can a little down the road in regards to the Thermite Party getting the rights to the Grand Championship title match. Now the champions at the time for the team championship were the Ultramarines, and they actually demanded to defend against the Thermite Party instead of Pinrest. But before we get to that, on the rest of the show, Pinrest and the Navi Express, the teams that are at the top of the team pyramid for the majority of the shows we're about to talk about. Pinrest is supposed to shoot this title shot, but having had it stripped, well, stripped is an interesting term for it. Having lost it for the time being, they instead elected to fight the Navi Express, resulting with Monster Energy coming up with the chokehold win again. Mistake was trying to resume her career in match 2, but Pseudomania's campaign against Junior continued as she was attacked mid-match. Speaking of people on violent campaigns, Drong Sol Rua made his return to Power Fantasy by brutalizing Mr. Main, and we're about to see a lot of him coming up in August. As for the main event, during the last award presentation, the Thermite Party threatened the presence of a 4th member who was ringside at the championship bout. Then that bout ended with the tragedy of the Thermite Party's win of the team championship. Moving on to our next show, on June 17th, this big show started with Cocksher beating Ellen Ellis and Royal Bengal of the Megafauna, the Corruptonaut beating the one person he didn't beat in the tournament, the Jackalope Kid, Mars making a solo appearance after letting a Ruby Angel's contract expire, the reunion of Bonami and Erwin Handler, now with a common enemy in the Ultramarines after Bonami got screwed by the tag titles, not the tag titles, the PF2 championship. And as well, the establishment of the interim light championship in place due to the Dime winning the title due to a murky contract, but still serving a suspension. The commission required a light championship defense, and so we put on that one, in which Tom Ryder won by cheating. On to the next show, June 24th. The Dirty Sprites defended their own position on the ABC team pyramid with an impressive bout against the FBI's Most Wanted, ending with 1-800-BILLION debuting the $1 billion Dream submission hold. Meanwhile, Lisa Frank 2 tried to reestablish herself in the light championship picture after her failed tag team stint. While she was able to put away Gordon, Beat Me Sicko, put her down with with Ellen Ellis' Mammoth Slam. Now, match 4 was interesting. The Hierophant actually challenged Tsunamania, tired of watching her attack Mistake and other junior heavyweights. The Hierophant had the match won with Faded, that knee drop, but the referee called a controversial rope break, which you see there. The last time Faded didn't win a match, the Hierophant had a gory 45-minute death match with Drangsal Rua. The doubt of what was ahead might have crept in, and Tsunamania made a successful comeback. And we were supposed to have an interim tag championship match as well. That was canceled due to the discovery of a backpack, a suspicious backpack, which we learned on July 1st that said backpack just had a letter from the Thermite Party accepting a challenge to a power battle match. Rugby Alcohol took out his frustration on Case Dooley from Mount South Circle as he wrestled this building from a secure and empty location. Also in match 2, we had a successful title defense with the Corruptonaut, who went to the trouble to put on his whole makeup to wrestle in this gymnasium. Thanks for that. And then the week after the Ultimate Ring lost their tag titles, Amazing Grace attempted to fight Erwin Handler backstage. This match was signed, but a clear body double was used from the film company. We still haven't had an explanation of what's going on between them and Amazing Grace, aka Ultra Lady. In match 4, we had S&M with probably one of the biggest upsets that's going to happen this year. Something else pitting the former tag champion Ellen Ellis with the Beyonce drop. Maybe the lack of crowd helped them get it done, but they got it done regardless. And in our main event, Phoebe Keto had elected herself as the captain of Team Power Fantasy going into the Power Battle, as the only Power Fantasy wrestler to pin a Thermite Party member during the Bad Time 3. When she asked Bonami to join, he wanted to see how strong she was first by himself, and well, they ended up having a match, and Bonami was victorious with the Bro Bridge. Starting on the next episode on July 8th, you can see Bonami agreed and Erwin cheered alongside. The last member, Rugby Alcohol, a veteran from our war against GPW. And speaking of that war against GPW, the one-year ban has elapsed, and RV Manhole and Dr. Cyclelover, fresh off their run in the Bad Time 3, have decided to try teaming up here in Power Fantasy. We have an exclusive here. We have the reveal of their name as a tag team. They are the Funhouse. And then for match 5 on this show was the Grand Proving Ground, a match arranged by Judgment and the Athletic Commission again to try to stall the Thermite Party's chances of the Grand Championship. It was an incredible bout that ended when the match had to go to overtime, and Noah Gripe managed to finally put Orion down with a diving senton off the top rope. Meanwhile, on PFU, another big upset happened when Aardvark Jones scored a 3-count pinfall on Bidiote Esquire after a scramble left Bidiote prone in their territory. And that led us to Thermite versus the World. We said that Power Fantasy would never be the same after this show, but we didn't know how right we were. And for a while it was going alright. We had the debut of Trashy Wood Man again, followed by his quick humbling by Big Lug. The Corruptonaut challenged anyone from GPW and was met by Big Bomb Betsy Hubble, who didn't even need to whirl out her fearsome walls to win the match. And then in match 3, we unified the interim and real ABT Light Championship. Tom Ryder tried to win by countout again, but the commission demanded a restart with a proper finish and kicked Chuck and Frodo from ringside. And that ended up with with the Dime claiming victory. And then we had the Power Battle. A lot happened, so let's break that down in detail. At the start of the match, the Thermite Party had to reveal their identities. After taking off their masks, revealed Des Russell, Afterman, and Rio Russell, all three from the defunct promotion Firestarter, co-owned by Power Fantasy and shut down in the spring of last year due to financial mismanagement. Erwin Handler, a member of Team Power Fantasy, was missing all day, but when the intro started, he appeared and sat in our team's corner, only to be with the Thermite Party in the next shot, wearing the mask for June 10th. What's worse is that Erwin knew a secret about Team Power Fantasy from the time they spent trying to get on the same page. Bonami had a cracked rib from Phoebe Keto during their match on July 1st. So the plan was for Bonami to go last to try to save his physical condition, but Erwin's betrayal provoked Bonami into going first. And being down 4-on-3 led to the Thermite Party dominating the match until Amazing Grace ran down and tried to interfere, trying to injure Afterman as fast as she could, until Bomb Suit informed her that if she didn't leave, she was gonna have to DQ Team Power Fantasy. Reluctantly, she did depart, and after that last hope was extinguished, Bonami, out of the corner of his eye, Rugby saw Bonami on the ground, surrounded by the Thermite Party, knowing about that rib injury, and now knowing that they knew about the rib injury. He tapped out to prevent a punctured lung or a broken rib or worse. And that's how Rio tapped out Mr. Power Fantasy and let the Thermite Party make the rules of their existence in Power Fantasy for the time being. Here are those rules. The Young Nowhere, the wrestler formerly known as Throw-In Handler, demanded that Power Fantasy drop the criminal charges. Des Russell wanted all Firestarter contracts voided. The Afterman has declared house party rules for their reign as the ABT Team Champions. Des and Afterman, of course, now the Team Champs. Rio Russell reactivated the Firestarter Fire Championship, which she never lost, with a Grand Championship pay scale as paid by the Athletic Commission. And then we learned that we didn't know all the members of the Thermite Party. The Dime renegotiated all of their contracts to have high value and no-cut clauses. The Firestarter, the Thermite Party cannot be stopped by release. We can't fire them, we can't kick them out. We're stuck with them. And in the spirit of that, we went into July 22nd with a lot of incredible events, like Neon Ferdinand revealing he's being trained by Drangsal Rouge. Mistake and Lisa Frank 2 turning out to be an incredible tag team. The Megafauna hitting a new gear and just running over the FBI's Most Wanted, but this week was overshadowed mostly by injuries. In our main event, the ABT Grand Championship bout was cut short after the Hierophant elbowed Noah Gripin so hard in the spine that he suffered a stinger, losing feeling in his arms. Tsunamania, you can see that was standing at ringside, irritating and intimidating the Hierophant Spiritual Advisor Judgment. That likely incensed the champion and caused her to really bear down on Noah. And then that Wednesday, we saw the broadcast of dark matches from Thermite vs. the World, including Monster Energy's horrific injury. Brains attacked one leg, but you see Energy coming down, pulling up on the other. He's keeping his diagnosis private, and we can only hope for a full recovery and hope for the best on his way to that full recovery. Bringing us to our last match of the series, the period rather, where S&M and Aardvark Jones were all welcomed to the main roster and had a chance to sign. It's the most rookie wrestlers here who signed at one time. Unfortunately, they weren't able to win that match, but they did have a lot of key moments, and we'll be seeing a lot of them in the future. The Corruptonaut asked for a rematch against Betsy Hubble despite the protest of the Animates company and his insurance company, only to run out of gas at the 10-minute mark trying to keep up with the big power that is Betsy Hubble. Cocksure, meanwhile, in match 3 was revealed as the newest members of Ruby's Angels, though the surprise wasn't enough to be able to finish the big members' pin rep, though it was enough to cause Luxury Levy to come out there feeling some type of way and get into a shoving match with John Bobson, causing an impromptu match. And then in the main event, we got to learn what Thermite's house party rules were firsthand. Basically a big brawl with no rules and multiple titles on the line, forcing Steve Austin and Phoebe Keto, a team of convenience, after Monster Energy was injured, but Austin and Energy had the title shot. Phoebe stepped up for another chance at the Thermite Party and to make good on what happened, only for them to fall when Ulta Lady, the competitor scheduled to fight Rio Russell, the body double, not Amazing Grace, was defeated by the Afterman. And that takes us to the end here. As we look at the ABT Team Pyramid, here's how it's looking at the end of the season. There's an asterisk by the Monster Energy's name, and it's because he hasn't clarified his medical condition. And due to the general unfairness of the House Party rules match, Steve Austin has received unusual clearance from the Athletic Commission to attempt to find a new partner temporarily for the Navi Express to keep them on the pyramid. So this is how the tag team division shaped up to the end. And that's going to do it for this review. Looking forward to the next month. In August, we have the reality 2 blocks of 4 wrestlers, all former MVPF winners, competing in a round-robin league of dream bouts. On September 8th, we have SPF 17, the Bloody Gala. Our benefactors and sponsors contribute to our continuing operation. And in return, they're going to put whatever matches they feel like on the show. We also have, in October, the Fantasy Battle Tournament, a random draw tag team tournament leading into the Power World Series, our last big show of the year. And that's all that's coming up for Part 4 of Power Fantasy in 2024. We hope to see you then.